Hello and welcome to London for Workday Elevate, and I'm here in East London to bring you the very best of this year's show. If you can't be here in person, this is the next best thing. Coming up in today's show, we'll be speaking to Workday customers about the dangers of employee burnout. We'll be joined by Workday partners Deloitte and PwC to discuss how AI can help finance leaders to transform their organisations. Piers Thynne, Chief Operating Officer, McLaren F1, discusses why trust and teamwork are integral to his organisation's success. And Workday's Rogerio Almeida will be speaking to payroll partners ADP and Alight to talk about the complexities of global payroll and how businesses can overcome them. But first, fresh from their keynote appearance here at Elevate, I met up with broadcaster Humphrey and Damian Hughes from the High Performance podcast to learn what lessons can be learned from their podcast guests. Damian, thank you so much for talking to us. You have literally just come off stage. Excellent keynote address. How was it for you?
It's actually great for us because I think that, like everyone, we forget the stuff that we've learned and heard, don't we? And then when you sit on stage in front of hundreds of people wanting to know answers to things, you suddenly have to kind of delve into your database of who have we spoken to, what have they said, what was the takeaway. So it's good for us as well. It gets us thinking, right?
What is high performance in the context of people's own lives and their own goals?
The key for us is that it's about people finding their own version of high performance. The typical examples of success, like a big house or a fast car or a well-paid job, they're not necessarily high performance because we've spoken to a lot of people who have all those things, but no joy, no happiness, no flow. It's the best you can do where you are with what you've got. No one can ask more of you than that.
We all come at this from very different places with different resources, and helping people just understand what is happiness for them. The idea of the podcast is to give you one or two ideas that maybe you can take away and apply to help you get there.
The latest insights from Workday Peakon Employee Voice revealed that 60% of employees are at risk of burnout, based on analysis of employee survey from 2.6 million employees across more than 850 companies and 12 industries around the world. Earlier today, we spoke with Workday customers to find out more about the risk that burnout poses for organisations and how business leaders can face this challenge head on. We're talking about employee engagement and the impact that it has on a business and actually how you and your organisation manage that.
So employee engagement is very, very important to us here at Law Group. We use Peakon within Workday to measure areas of improvement and also celebrate successes.
Really good engagement comes not just from doing the things people want, but being transparent, clear and honest when you can't. We do real time, real data. We talk about it in our senior managers meetings because we're constantly wanting Equinity to be a better place to work.
One of the other things that has really changed over the last few years is the level of hybrid working conditions and the fragmented nature of your workforce. How important is this kind of data and this kind of intelligence in managing that sort of like newly fragmented workforce?
You have people who are being managed on the opposite side of the world. And so sometimes you need intelligence to just help gather data so that you can make decisions quickly and easily.
What we use that data for is to really tap into what works for different demographics of individuals across our organisation and how can leadership styles change and adapt accordingly to provide the best leadership, the best employee experience and really listen to the employees of how we get the best out of them.
What advice would you give to other leaders in order to start modelling their own workforce in the same way?
So this stuff is important because it's the right thing to do, and as a business we passionately believe that. But actually it's much easier to sell that message to the various stakeholders that you have if you can turn it into performance metrics, because we use a full suite of data coming from Workday that we can do statistical analysis. We can link our engagement to retention directly. That means you can turn it into pounds, dollars, rupees or whatever other currency we're operating in around the globe.
When it comes to the transformative potential of artificial intelligence, few are more excited than the CFO. AI has the potential to elevate the analytical and advisory responsibilities of finance leaders. Earlier today, we spoke with Deloitte and PwC about how intelligent technologies are helping finance leaders to transform their organizations from standard functionality to dynamic capability. AI. It seems like business everywhere is really excited about AI. But why is that particularly so for the finance industry?
I think it's something like 30% of finance executives see AI and the new technologies as their primary controllable way of getting finance out of a more traditional role into something more value creating for the business. That's why everyone's so excited. Individuals will not need to do the same sort of work or hard manual work that they traditionally do. And that gives everyone a new lease of life to translate and do some things differently.
So at PwC, we're talking to finance leadership about AI all the time, and we're finding that they're using it to really drive a speedier close process by using AI functionality to speed up things like reporting, to identify anomalies in their data, to be able to enable that faster close.
From the ground floor, what would you say are your top tips for finance leaders to really get it right, as we said is so important?
A lot of organisations are building capability, excited and prototyping work. I think there's a little way to go for them to actually get into the execution of it. And I think they're looking at platforms such as Workday to help them with that, because the AI and the generative AI needs to be inbuilt within the platform. Fundamentally, it relies on some infrastructure such as data and data management for it to work. And those in most organisations are big exercises. They've been ongoing for a long time, and we need to get those bits right to really get the potential of AI and generative AI to work.
We really feel very strongly that CFOs must focus on data as a critical asset within their organisation. So that's understanding the requirements from a statutory and regulatory standpoint, but also understanding how you're going to operate your business and the management information you need to drive from your system. So I think using a very powerful tool like a Workday to be able to ingest large volumes of operational data as well as sort of core finance data really provides a very powerful solution.
Much like the intricacies of finance, Formula One is all about managing risk and making split-second decisions. I spoke to Piers Thynne, Chief Operating Officer at McLaren F1, about the role of trust in driving a high-performing F1 team and what business leaders can learn from life in the fast lane. Piers, great to meet you. Let's talk about your team. How important is trust in a high-performing team?
We have a very flat structure where we work in collaborative groups. Therefore, trust is part of our DNA to make sure we're working together and going faster on a race-by-race basis.
How do you sort of like keep that team motivated and feeling part of the group when there is so much focus on the driver?
We talk about it after every race. We bring the whole team together to debrief after every event, and we always talk about everybody playing their part. Yes, the driver plays his part, but there are a huge amount of complexities of engineering, manufacturing, logistics, and don't forget, of course, our organisation is a 24/7 organisation, and it really is the power of 1,000 people to deliver those cars 24 times a year.
The amount of data points that you're looking at for your strategic decisions is insane and must be continually changing. How do you sort of keep track of it and continually changing strategies?
Data is a massive part of what we do in our factory and at the race team, but of course the data needs to be interpreted, and we play out lots of scenarios, be that in the event of an accident, a safety car, the weather changing, tyre degradation being better or worse than planned, and we play out those scenarios through the race. So lots of people are looking at our channels. Also, we have people looking at what everyone else is doing to make sure we are optimising our opportunity to score points at every race.
What would be the top tips that you would give business leaders on how they can foster better trust and more engagement from their employees?
Failure is part of growth, and ensuring that everybody understands failing fast and learning from it is a way to add performance to any organisation. And things go wrong in our organisation, and when we do, we bring a group together which includes any individuals involved to ensure we've captured the learning, we focus, we procedurise that learning, and we move forward at best speed.
Now, just as HR is undergoing a transformation, so too is payroll. According to Sapient Insights Group, more than 50% of global organisations are considering changing their payroll, time and attendance and analytics applications by the end of this year. Earlier today, Workday's Rogerio Almeida met with ADP and Alight to find out why this is the year for payroll transformation and what organisations can do to turn complexity into simplicity.
Hey Luca, great to see you. Great to be here with you.
Hello Rogerio.
Luca, let's talk about payroll. So there's a lot of organizations going through incredible payroll transformations now at this point in time. Why do you think that that's the case?
I think there are 4 primary drivers. We call them the 4 C's because they are easy to memorize. The first one is cloud. When you move to a solution like Workday, your entire technology stack goes to the next level. Number 2 is control, is to get a good control of your data. Data is so important. The third C is compliance. That's such a pain nowadays with all the privacy laws, all the changes, but also think about cybersecurity threat that we are all going through. And the fourth one is obviously cost, which is always there. How can you get to a more improved and efficient solution to it?
When you think about where the prime age workforce is going to be in the globe, historically it's been North America, Western Europe, the developed economies, Japan, and actually that's really changing. So as the Western world ages, you're starting to see that prime age workforce be in Asia and Africa. The strategy that you had that was centered on North America, Western Europe, might actually not work.
So what is the advice that you would give to companies thinking about this change?
There are really a few dimensions that you need to look at. The first one is technology. Choose a partner who has a very strong technology, very integrated with your core HCM, who has invested knowledge, capabilities and resources. The second thing is think about an end-to-end approach. How can I cover from hire to retire from a technology, process and capabilities point of view? The third one is scale and domain expertise are truly important. Somebody who has done it at scale for your level of complexity, for your industry, for your specificities, and is able to bring best practices and advice. And fourth one, who also has a roadmap for innovation. It's not only getting you to a good place now, but it's taking you to the next level.
Have I got the right skills? What level of skills do I want to do? What level of outsourcing am I prepared to do? What level of control do I want over my payroll versus having it in-house? Where am I going to be and what kind of technology works for me? So those are the 3 key things. People, process, technology. It's focus on those 3 things. Start thinking about that and then start testing how that works with certain partners.
All good things must come to an end, and I'm sad to say that is all we have time for today. A huge thank you for joining us at what has been an incredible event, and a big thank you to all of our guests, partners, customers and workmates who make Workday Elevate possible. But don't worry, we are now just 6 months away from Rising EMEA, Workday's marquee customer event, which this year takes place in London. To learn more, go to rising.workday.com or search Workday Rising to you to learn more. And until next time, have a great Workday.